Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Singly Parenting, and today we're doing something different. So we're gonna be talking about why the late 80s and the 90 babies are not valuing family relations as much as people in the 60s, 50s going backwards. So usibanduke, stay locked.
Agnes Salome Awuor. I am a mentor for several people. I mentor young families. I mentor students at the university where I teach at Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University of Science and Technology. I'm also the vice chairperson of Women for Peace at One Nation Under God. I also run my organization called Hekima Kaka Society, and in Hekima Kaka Society we deal with male issue for the boy child, because from my perspective and where I sit, the boy child has been neglected in the discussions about the girl child. And so from where I'm sitting, I always propagate that the boy child and the girl child need to be mentored concurrently. That's why I'm here, and I want to appreciate my beautiful girl who is here, who is very interested in a very interesting topic that is worth discussing.
Yes. So guys, so we're just going to go straight to the discussion. And Madam Agnes, so I think my first question is, how valuable were family relations when you guys were growing up?
When we were growing up, I remember we never used to spend like a weekend without visiting our uncles. We had relatives coming, we had relatives living with us. And so from me, it's just like, it's for granted that our relatives are part of us and we are part of the other, and we can't live without the other. And so the neat family was not father, mother, brother, sister, no other. It was father, mother, uncle, aunts, nephews, nieces, cousins, and we didn't even call them cousins. Even today, when I introduce my cousins, I say they're my brothers and they're my sisters. Until people ask me, but I know you only have 6 sisters. They say yes, but they are also my aunt's kids, they are also my uncle's kids, and we are brothers and sisters. Yeah.
That is interesting. And let's talk about disagreements in family.
Yes.
So when the family, that is your parents and their siblings, when they had disagreements, how was it solved within the family?
I mean, there's no perfect family. They are not perfect siblings. Even as I sit here, we still have disagreements with my brothers and sisters. And sometimes if I can't call my mother, I'll call my uncle or call my aunt and say, Auntie, you know, so and so is behaving like this and I don't understand. And my uncle will call, or my aunt will call the other person and say, hey, Kweli, what's happening? Your sister just told me this. Or even my own cousins, we share among ourselves. And so those disagreements or those misunderstandings, because we are, even if we are born from one womb, we are totally different people. We have our likes and our wants, our likes and dislikes. And so those that come up, but it was merely solved within the neatness of that family. So there were no things like dirty linens being put outside. Families were so neat that you thought they were perfect, but they were not perfect. Yeah.
So it's basically solving amicably.
Yes.
And are there instances whereby the discussing of the issues led to your siblings or your relatives holding grudges?
I mean, people are different. There are people who will walk with their wounds and their scars throughout, and you can't change them. But when things have been discussed, they are half solved. So even if they walk away. But let me tell you, a brother and a sister, a relative, never enter issues of relatives, because they'll find themselves in celebrations, they'll start talking.
Yeah, true.
And so these grudges were not being carried on the way things are being carried on today. I think we have a lot of issues within ourselves that are not solved, that when another one comes, it just hits the iceberg. and things just burst. So things were neatly put together. And that's the thing that we long for today. We didn't go to ask our friends. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have Google to sort out our issues. We sorted them at home. Yeah, in the family circle. That's what I mean by at home.
Okay. Moving forward, so are there instances where, do you think there were instances whereby after there's a disagreement, parents would say, wewe usiongeleshe kazini yako from this side kwa sababu mama yake amenikosea, ama there was nothing like that?
Those are the things that I call maturity and immaturity. I believe most of our parents got married at a very young age. But I think they sorted their ways in a very mature way because they had the grandparents. Like they would see the way the grandfather and the grandmother would sort out their issues. Today your aunt might tell you, don't talk with that family. Don't talk with so and so. Don't talk with so and so. Because we have our own separate homes. Some people live in Karen, some people live in Kitengela. They call them homes. But when I was growing up, we only had one home, and that was our grandfather's home. And so there was no way that you could start separating from each other, and yet you lived in one compound. You ate from the same kitchen. I mean, every food was cooked at my grandmother's place, and we all shared that food. So can you imagine when that is happening and you don't understand each other? At meals you're forced to talk with each other. Yes. So that's what happened. And I believe if we have those changes, that we meet as families, we share meals. It is meal where bread is broken that also those kind of revenge, jealousies, hatreds are also solved. Because I can't drink water from you when I'm not talking with you. I can't eat your food when I'm not happy with you. So you either eat my food and be happy with me, or you walk away.
So what do you think has changed as at now in the era we're living in?
What has changed today is our communication styles. Like people find solutions from mobile. Like I'll say, I'll just Google. I'll find out how people are sorting out. People are so busy with their mobile phones that even communication and interaction within families, people don't. And then we have moved, the family circle has been taken over by friends, by different associations that we belong to, by different groups that we identify ourselves with. And so people don't no longer identify themselves with the families where they come from. We identify ourselves with our professions. Like I will talk with lawyers, I won't talk with teachers. And that comes down even to the family. Who in the family do you associate with? And then we have classism in our society. The top society doesn't relate to the low society. The people from up country don't have the ideas that the Nairobians have, or the people from Mombasa have, or the people from Kisumu town have. So there's that gap. And that gap, what we don't know is that we're from the same origin. And whether you're from up country or down country, we have something to inform the other about. And those barriers are so wide. And then there's another thing that we want to look more white than the white themselves. I lived in the US, have lived in the Philippines, I've lived in Brazil, have lived in Australia, I've lived in Rome, I've lived in Germany. And those people really value family. You find there's always family meals on Saturdays and Sundays. When was the last time you ate with your grandfather a meal, or your grandmother, or uncles or cousins? Sitting on the same table. Social events, family events. It is only on weddings, burials, and maybe weddings, maybe on baptisms of somebody. Or you meet in hospitals when somebody is sick, but you don't meet in your houses. So that family comes together, sitting for a meal, discussing the progress of one another. And then with these little jealousies, like, I don't want to tell you what I'm about, utaniendea kwa uganga. I mean, at this time and age, and even you find this in elders, pastors' homes, so you ask yourself, were these people really saved? Or where did the blood of Jesus reach in their body? Maybe only on their front head, but not every part of their body. So all that interaction we have changed. Like the people you meet maybe are your social friends. The people you work with. the people you are in chamas with. So these all circles have taken over the family relationships.
And can you also say the era of Facebook, because most people are seeking advices from Facebook groups?
That's what I was telling you. We are Instagram group people because we want instant solutions. We don't have things that are dragging. Like, okay, I have a problem with this young man. Instead of calling your aunt who has been in a relationship and who is married for a long time to talk with you, you're asking somebody from Facebook. And maybe the person you're talking to is on a head and roller coaster relationship. She or he will only inform you what they know,
as per their experience. And mostly they mostly think mentally broken and emotionally broken.
Yes, and you don't consider that aunt of yours who, when they're giving you an advice, they'll be talking from, this is the daughter of my brother, this is the son of my sister, and I don't want their marriage to mess up. So they'll be giving you an advice that is solid, not just cheap things, which maybe they just learned from the other Facebook partner. So do you see, it's a Facebook. WhatsApp. You even do WhatsApp video with strangers. Who will even destroy your you might be talking with a very person who might, for example, be moving with your husband. True. And they'll say, just get out of that marriage, because when there's a vacuum, she'll come in.
You're paving way.
Yes.
Interesting. So as of now, what's your take on the 80s and the 90s kids not valuing the family relations?
I believe that is the time we started getting it all wrong. The time most of the parents started working, husband was working, the wife was working, and then the values of the family changed to paying school fees, taking care of the home, wanting to live like an American, a European, People started changing their status, and their status symbol changed, and so the family time was taken away, with both parents being engaged. The children were left alone, and slowly that connection of people coming to your home was blocked. And so it was mother, father, I'm interested in how my children are doing. I'm interested in how we can create our home, in how we can build a palace for ourselves, where we will live, how we can save. And if we save, then we don't need a lot of relatives around, because they will eat around our resources. Do you get me? And then we started parting away. And now the gap is so big that we only meet during funerals. And say, it's good to have funerals. You have heard people say, it's good to have funerals because we get to know one another. We get to touch base with one another. So it has been left to funerals, weddings, or birthdays.
So partially, we cannot say we are fully blaming the kids.
No. No.
So it started from the parents.
A child is born without knowing who his or her relatives are. You're born without knowing whether you are a Luo or a Luya. It is these parents who teach us everything through modeling. Our parents themselves left the steering long time ago, and the car was rolling down the drain. And so the kids only met when the halt was done. And the halt has been going on until today. Nobody has pulled the car from down the volcano range.
Yeah. So I think what we're basically saying is everyone is busy.
Yes.
Okay. And me actually blame the hard economic times. And I don't think even parents have even time to call their siblings for get-togethers.
There's no hard economic times when it comes to family. Because we had a family where people, in the US they call it potluck. If you had a celebration, somebody brought unga, somebody brought this, and people had nice time together. Where did that change?
But that doesn't happen here. Here, if you have a celebration, you are catering for everything.
It doesn't happen because it has been me, I, and myself. People would say, why are you bringing this food? This is not my standard. So you have a standard that people cannot meet. So they say, wacha twende tuone ile kitu ametutengenezea. Do you get me? Not wacha twende tukusanye pamoja, we see how we can help.
True.
Do you see where that has changed? Yes.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because I know of relatives who come to your place and after you cook they go discussing alitupikia hii na vile anajifanya kona pesa.
Yes.
And I think pia imechangia watu kutokusanyika, because people come but they don't come there with positive attitude.
Then that also tells us which image of yourself do you give out. Do you give an image that everybody is welcome with what they bring? Maybe the next thing I'm carrying is sweet potatoes. Hizi waru mnaleta za nini? Nani aliwaambia nataka waru? Do you get me?
Yeah.
So next time you have a party, people will say, please write for us a list of what you want us to bring in your house. If I can't afford it, I'll come empty-handed and see what you've prepared, because you don't eat potatoes, you don't eat ugali. Nani aliwaambia sina unga? Do you get me? But that's what your relative can afford, because everybody cuts their coat according to their sizes.
True.
And not one size fits all. Yeah.
True. As at now, we are living in an era whereby, for example, and I've seen this in my family, our parents are not talking.
Yes.
So because they're not talking, and your mom or your dad told you this about their sibling, ata wewe now, you hold the same grudges towards your cousin. I will not talk to them because the dad said this or my mom said this. What's your take on that kind of attitude? Actually,
there I blame the parents. And you see, if the parents are not talking, especially to one another, it goes to the extension that the side of your father will take your father's side.
Yeah, true.
The side of your mother will take your mother's side. Some will crisscross on both sides, and the tensions go on because they are the tree, you are the trunk. If the top of the tree is dry, the rest of the tree will be dry. And so communications has to be from top down and down to top. And you can break that circle yourself by saying, I remember there's one of my nieces who said, I don't want to be involved in your business. And this is a 2-year-old kid. I looked at that kid, I said, really? Is this what is happening? A kid said, I don't want to be in your issues. Sometimes you as a mature woman have to choose your own path and say, if I relate with these people, what value does it add? What value does it not add? Do you get me? And sometimes you have to cross over your parents' side because you're not going to live your parents' life. You're going to live your own life. And for example, if you have a kid, what kind of life would you love that kid to have with her own cousins? Because everybody makes their own bed. Which bed would you like your kid to lie on? The bed of your parents or your own bed that you have seen that you need a transformation and change, and you need to walk away from their social interaction and have your own social interaction? Meaning opening the doors to your aunts and brothers and saying, like that kid, I'm not interested in your business, let me run my own business. Yes.
And as we talk about that, for now, what can we do to kind of mend the broken family relations?
I mean, we need to go back to those Christmas parties that we had as kids. We need to go back to our cousins and say, okay, why is our clan? Let's arrange. Like next time we are going to visit Uncle who and who. Even if he doesn't talk to your brothers, to your parents, that's their own business. We are going to meet with cousins from this side. We're going to meet with cousins from this side. And do that frequently. And you'll find those bolts that were blocked will start opening themselves for free. Yeah. It doesn't take much energy. There's a lot of tension in keeping away and less tension in interactions. Yeah.
And for us, I don't know if upcoming parents, I'm a parent of a 2-year-old.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm so sure we have so many parents out there. As a now, because we bring up like a totally different generation. What can we do different?
What you can do different is to observe what you don't want to repeat from what your parents are doing. What you don't want to your children to go through from where you went through, maybe with your own cousins and your own brothers and sisters, and even with your own siblings, because sometimes even siblings don't talk to one another. Yeah. So that path is the path that you chart the path of positivity, because at the end of time, what matters is relationships. It's not about what you have. It's not about your titles. It's not about what you possess. It's who do you relate with? I always tell people this short story. When you die today, your casket will be flat on the ground. Your house will not push it. Your money in the bank will not push it. Your clothes will not push it. It will be pushed by human beings. And so human relationships are the most important. And above all that, put God to hold the whole. Because if the whole start tumbling, you'll not be at peace with yourself. You can have your money, but you'll be a depressed, rich, old woman somewhere. So you make your bed now to lie on it later. Which bed do you want to carry? Who will be your pallbearers? Your clothes, your shoes, your houses, your possessions, or your relationships? It's your relationships.
Oh, wonderful. And now, as we finish, our last question, just touch a little bit on the concept. The concept that is actually, I think, how can I say it? Let me just say the concept. Nowadays, friends are more family than blood.
That's a very ill displaced concept. Because you can tell me today, if your father is sick, who will run first? Are his friends or you? It will be you. So blood is still thicker than water. Friends are water. When you die today, the people who will take you home, who will ask themselves how you are going to be taken home, as much as your friends will be there, it is your family which will be number one. And so I want to deny that concept. And I want to say our family relationships should be as strong and even more stronger than the relationships with the outsiders. Mula nawe, hafi nawe, ila mzaliwa nawe. Thank you.
All right. So guys, I think we're going to close there. And it has been a very interesting conversation with Madam Agnes. And I hope you're all going to learn actually a lot from this particular conversation, and it's going to change how we are thinking and the perspective you're holding towards our family in general. So from my end, kama kawaida, I am your host Zoe'ivy Lutsili. This has been our beautiful guest, Madam Agnes. And yeah, that is it from us.
Thank you very much, and may God bless you all.
Okay.
Thank you.